it's Captain. So this is going to be another video on sinking ships. So I put out a tutorial last Saturday in response to somebody's comments on the weekly update saying that you couldn't sink ships. So again, we've been able to sink ships for, the entire time here. Been able to do it after pressurization. People claimed you couldn't do it after pressurization. I was able to sink them as early as November. And then I put out a test box in February to demonstrate again for those who were not saying ships could not sink. They could just download the test box and see, in fact, that ships could sink. And so we're going to go through some comments here on the weekly update, and we'll try to disprove some of these claims. All right, so this person writes, well, ships still don't sink. So again, I disproved this false on Saturday. I spent hours making a video and included the workshop links. Door frames do not let water from the ocean into the model. They do, and we'll disprove that. It's the same with hatches, meaning that the hatches do not let water through from the ocean into the model. They do, and we'll prove that they do as well. My response, they still do sink and have for some time. I include my sinking test box from February 10th, 2024. That, again, you can download and you can, have it sink, and it has a timer on there, as you can see, with timer, and it will tell you how many seconds it took to sink. So I ask, are you just visually saying the water does not come in, or are you actually taking readings from a liquid meter like you should? They respond, as soon as the water reaches just above the door frame or hatch, the water ingress slows down considerably, leading to a model that once sank in a few minutes to sink in hours. Again, this is called moving your goalposts. All right, let's look at the first claim. So the first claim was, well, ships still don't sink. They do. That was your initial claim, that ships don't sink. All right, I proved your ships do sink, and then you changed your position. Instead of acknowledging that I was wrong, ships do sink, that now you say, well, they don't sink as fast as I would like. That is moving the goalposts, leading to a model that once sank in a few minutes to sink in hours. Again, this is an engineering building game. If you have a specific thing you're trying to accomplish, be specific. I keep telling people to do this. Be specific. Because when you say ships don't sink, and I prove ships do sink, and you say, well, what I really meant was they don't sink as fast as I would like. Well, if you had started with, hey, I would like my ship to sink within 5 minutes so that I can do sinking ship survival. Hey, can somebody help me out with that? You're going to get different answers than if you say ship don't sink. If you say ship don't sink, I show you ship do sink, that's the end of it. Ask the actual question you're trying to do. Tell people what you're actually trying to accomplish, and people can help you. The only alternative way to scuttle a ship is to use pumps, but they use electric and produce unwanted sound. So we're going to demonstrate that you do not need pumps, and I did. I said use a sideways door, and it will sink in seconds. That's my claim. Let's go ahead down here. I spent hours on this video. Sinks fine to me. Put a video on there I spent 2 hours on. I did multiple tests with multiple different scenarios. And I've included to this person 3 different workshop links demonstrating that, guess what? Ships do sink. Ships sink with hatches. And they go, please demonstrate how to get my test model to sink. So we've got some things we want to accomplish here. We want to sink their test model. We want to demonstrate that water will go through door frames. As they said, water will not go from the ocean into the model through door frames or hatches. So we'll prove both of those things. And we'll sink their model. And they said it will take hours. And so let's try to sink their model quickly. So went ahead onto the workshop and downloaded their model here. Now they've got some funky, glitchy weirdness going on here too. They're segmenting their room with a door frame. This is a known purposeful glitch where you can use door frames to seal areas. All right, so this will still work. We'll still be able to sink this. But what this person's essentially doing is using a glitch here to separate the room into 2 halves. So that will account for some amount of strange behavior, and we can kind of test that out. This is actually a known thing people have been doing to make moon pools for quite a while. We can put some water in there. Let's put 50% on the, on this case, it would be, I don't know, port or starboard. I don't know which way it's supposed to be facing. But let's go ahead and let's look at some of the glitches that's going on. First thing, they claimed that door frames do not allow in water. As you can see, water is coming in the door frame. Water is coming in the door frame. So first claim, let's see if water is coming in the door frame. Yep, water is coming in the door frame. So their first claim of water does not come in the door frame is proven false. That should be known at this point. All right, so that said 3,200 liters in there. All right, now let's read this side. This one says 363,000 liters of water. Okay, this is because they've segmented their room with a door frame. Now, I'm not going to delete their build. I'm going to sync their build as it is, but this is, again, utilizing glitches on this. They should not be utilizing glitches here, but they are. And so we're going to keep track of that. But as you can see, if you notice the numbers, this one has a lot, and this one over here, as you can see, we can't even read it because a door frame segments the room. That's at 272. That's why we have this disparity. If this door frame was not here, it would read the entire volume. This is based on how the game segments different rooms. We can't really see with the F2 menu, but it is segmenting the two rooms. That's why these numbers will be a little bit off. So what we want to do here is make sure we have symmetry. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to recall it. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there to the fluid spawner they had, and let's drag that back to 0. So it has 0 fluid in there. But if you notice, the boat sunk and it went to the bottom when I put in 57% water. All right, so what I told them to do was put on some side hatches. They said side hatches don't let any liquid in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we'll disprove that. So I'm going to use a pink color here, and for every piece that I add, it will be in pink so that you guys can easily find it. So let's go ahead in here, and I'm going to start bumping these into the build here. So let's go, and we'll just use the select tool, and I'll start putting these into the wall. All the pink hatches are hatches that I have added, all right? Let's do it from the outside here. Be a little bit easier. They kind of have a weird segmented hull, so I kind of have to... They made it as hard as possible to do this, but we'll go ahead and we'll keep going here. Now, as I said in my video, we have all the tools required to be able to make a ship sink as fast or as slow as we want. So if you want to, for example, RP the Titanic, and you want to have it sink in 2 hours and 40 minutes, like I believe the Titanic did off the top of my head, you can do that. If you want to have a ship sink in seconds, you can do that. I demonstrated that in my video. I had one sink. The box sinks in 11 minutes. We had one of the ship models sink in 33 seconds. We had another one sink in 69 seconds. So you can tailor how quickly you'd like it to sink. So for example, if you actually want to play the game how it was intended to be played, as a building engineering game where you go do missions, you generally don't want your boat to sink. You can make it sink slowly. If you want to do sinking ship survival, or you want to blow it up with some torpedoes, you can make it sink quickly. It's up to you, and that's the cool thing is we have the tools. We can make our builds behave how we want. So let's go ahead and we'll just flip that like that. All right, let's paste that one. Let's paste this one. So I'm putting a lot of doors in here because my contention was that I could get this build that they said wouldn't even sink. I can get it to sink in seconds. So I would define seconds as in less than a minute. And part of it was in my video, I already demonstrated that my build you could get to sink in seconds. All right, now they said you require pumps to be able to do this. All right, and so I'm going to verify and show you guys that none of the pumps are on because they said you need electric pumps to be able to scuttle a boat. Scuttling, for those who don't know, is when you purposefully choose to sink a boat. So you essentially, you let the water in on purpose. They do this to sink boats either when they're at their end of their life, or they used to scuttle military vessels so the enemy couldn't get them. And so scuttling is when we purposely sink the boat ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and we'll count up all of these doors here. All right. The more doors you have, the faster the water will come in. That will eventually overcome the buoyancy of the vessel, and it will sink. All right. So we have lots of doors here. All right, so let's go ahead and count them again. I'm trying to get this thing to sink as quickly as possible. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 on this side. All right. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 doors. All right. So we have 29 doors on board. All right. Next thing I'm going to add is my stopwatch. So my stopwatch is what I made for, let's look at the date here. That was in February, is the latest version of the stopwatch. I was doing testing back in November, about a month after the pressurization update, demonstrating to people that, yes, you could still sink ships. They were still sinking fine. And so the latest version of this stopwatch is from February when I released the tutorial. What this will do is when I press that toggle button, as you can see, it's going to open all these doors, but it is also going to start a timer. Every second, it will tick a number. And so at the end of this, as soon as it goes below sea level, that altimeter will stop the timer, and it will tell us how many seconds did it take for this to go under the water, i.e. sink. So it will give us a counting of the sinking. This is good for example, if you wanted a boat to take 35 minutes, you don't have to sit there and watch it. You can just use the timer, and it will tell you how many seconds it took for it to sink. All right, so we're all plumbed up now. Let's verify that we don't have to use pumps. So here are all these pumps. They're commanded by this toggle. We're not going to press that toggle. Here are all these pumps. They're commanded by this toggle. Let's just verify it. We'll click on it. As you can see, off, and we're not going to press that one. Off, we're not going to press that one. Off, off. We're not going to touch any of those buttons. We're just going to touch my toggle, as you can see, what it's all attached to. And we're going to open the doors. It's going to start the timer. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save this. So this will be, it does sink. All right, it does sink. So I have done this test with this boat quite a few times already. So that's saved as it does sink. All right, good. So if we spawned it here, because this is such a monstrosity of a build, it's going to hit the bottom and it's going to not go completely under. And then the person would probably say, oh, look, it didn't sink. It's just resting on the bottom. So we're going to go all the way up here to this oil rig. This oil rig has nice deep water. And so we're going to bring it in with an add-on, and we're going to sink it from this oil rig because we have nice deep water here, which will allow us to sink it all the way to the bottom of Davy Jones' locker. So let's go ahead and the add-on editor here. Let's do sink test. I already have tested this multiple times. Let's go ahead and we're going to put the model right in. So here it is right here. It does sink right there. And the other thing we're going to do is we're not going to drop it in the world, because then the person could say, hey, you dropped it in the world, then the water came in, it was bobbing, the action caused it to sink faster or slower. Likely they would say faster. And so we're going to put it here. We're going to try to do minimal bobbing so that it just sits nicely. All the doors are closed. It is in there. All right, perfect. So we're going to stand right here. We'll look right down on it. Let's go ahead and save it as sink test. And we'll go ahead and we will load the sink test. So it should pop right in front of us. There it is. All right, as you can see, it barely moved because I got it just about where it needed to be. So you cannot argue that it was bouncing all over the place. Again, remember one of the claims that door frames do not let water in. That looks like water to me. Let's go ahead and read this. That is water, 1700. Now, because of the glitch they're using, which has been a known glitch for a very long time, people used it for moon pools before we had the pressurization update. This is segmenting the room into two. That's why this side will read none. That's why we have doors on either side. Again, this is some chicanery they're doing. I don't know why you would do this, segment the room into two with a door frame. That is some glitchy stuff. Again, that's not really what people should be doing. But again, I'm calling it out so that everybody knows that it is there. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open the hatch. Again, remember their claim that hatches do not allow water from the ocean into the model. All right, so you see the timer is in fact going. The button has been pressed. That is the only button I'm going to press, the one I showed you. It appears to me that water's coming in. Even some of those look like they're coming in. Let's go ahead and let's read what this looks like. We already have 30,000 liters of water in this side. On this side, let's see how many we have in this side. We have 146,000 liters on that side. Let's go up to our perch here and let's watch. Because this one should sink pretty fast, we're just going to watch it in real time. I'm not even going to time lapse this. We'll just sit here and let it sink. And there it goes. I would say that is sunk. Would anybody argue at this point that you cannot sink ships in Stormworks? All right, I think that should be a dead line of inquiry at this point that, yes, in fact, you can sink ships in Stormworks. All right, let's go ahead. Let's look at the timer. 82 seconds, so a little bit over a minute. If I added more doors, we could probably get it below a minute. I think we're not going to bother doing a test where I get it right under a minute because, as you can see, 82 seconds, pretty damn close. If I added more doors, I'm confident we could get this to sink even faster. But as you can see, we've disproved all these claims. Now, I keep hearing all this, that you can't sink ships in Stormworks. It's patently false. I've made multiple videos now. I've put on multiple things. I put 3 builds on the workshop that demonstrate to you that you can sink ships in Stormworks. This is the cool thing with this game, is we have the tools required to do the things we want. If you want your ship to sink fast, let's say you're torpedoing a boat, the cool thing with these hatches is even if these don't have electricity, and you hit them with a torpedo, guess what? The door will open, and it will let water through. All right, so you could put these doors, and if you want to XML a block over them so you can't see them, I've done that before myself, then you can hit it with a torpedo. Guess what? The door opens up, sinks. We did that in one of my tests in the other video. The more doors you add, the faster it sinks. So let's say that you actually want to play this game how it's intended, as a engineering, building, rescue, and mission-based game, where you generally actually kind of don't want your vehicle to sink, because the point is you're taking your vehicle out to go do rescues. You don't want to need a rescue yourself. You can make it, say, take 40 minutes to sink your boat. That gives you time to go down below and to close watertight doors. It allows you to pump the ship out. It allows you to do repairs. So you can do that if you want. You can build a ship that will do that. If you want to do sinking ship survival, where, say, you want to be able to have the ship sink in 10 minutes, and you want to run around the Titanic and rescue people, and you and your friends RP as surviving the Titanic, and you want it to take 10 minutes, guess what? You can do that. Add more doors, it will sink in 10 minutes. If you want it to sink incredibly fast, you can also do that with more doors. We have all the tools required to do this in-game. So, and this is even with this glitchy door frame this person has all the way across the middle. As you can see, sunk in 82 seconds. So, really, no issue here. I think I have thoroughly at this point disproven that ships do not sink. I think I've thoroughly disproved that water does not go through door frames. As we can see, water goes through door frames. I've also disproved that water does not go through hatches. Water does go through hatches. And this person's claim that this would not be able to be sunk, grand total of 82 seconds, and it's on the bottom of the ocean. So I think this should be beating a dead horse at this point. I still see day after day after day people posting that ships don't sink. If you mean that ships do not sink as fast as you would like, say that, because then somebody like myself can help you and show you what you need to do to accomplish what you want. All right, it's like somebody saying the plane won't take off, and then they watch you take off in the plane, and they go, well, you said the plane doesn't take off. Well, it takes too much runway, it takes too long to take off. So the engineer needs to know what they're trying to accomplish. Are they trying to take off quicker, or the plane doesn't take off at all? So enough with the hyperbole. Say what you mean. Be specific, and there's a lot of good people in this community who can help you out and get your builds where they need to be. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully this issue is dead.